Go
to
live.
like set
We're
any of
live.
these parameters. So
Paul
it's still going to be
Goody, are you
loud. Ben
still? I
Lawrence.
don't. Here's the thing. What I don't like about this setup here. It appears that this audio interface I'm using dynamically adjusts the volume, and so when I start talking, after being quiet for a
Oh
while,
no.
it's really loud. But then it kind of evens off without me adjusting the volume knob.
That's really, yeah, that could be a problem.
That's really effing annoying. All right, I think
It's
see now it's up all the way, but I'm not peaking. I'm gonna be quiet for a bit.
it's kind of like autofocus from back when we were using camcorders. Remember camcorders, Ben?
Oh, I hate autofocus. Yeah, see, look at that. It's just, and now the
Hmm.
well, this. I'm tell you what. I'm not gonna be satisfied with how this is gonna sound, so I'm gonna do
Okay.
something here. Hold on for a second. Bear with me.
Recording in progress.
Oh dear. Okay.
Just a safety bit.
Yeah.
All right, we good.
All right. So I'm telling it, okay. I heard recording in progress on my headphones, but the other folks probably don't hear it.
No earthly
Recording in progress.
no earthly
Person
idea.
voice. And no spaceman idea. Hey, so
Speaking of spacemen,
oh, okay.
actually, well, instead of like immediately starting off talking about the world on fire right now, you probably know that there's a new season of Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix.
I did not know that. I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah, I've
So that's cool.
seen all but the final two episodes, and they're like 6 and like 5 minutes apiece. So it's
Hmm.
not a heavy lift in terms of like time spent watching.
Yeah. I like Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, it's not
Uh,
bad.
so you may hear Edward barking. Speaking of the world being on fire, not in the way that you mean it, but
Edward
it's July
on fire.
3rd,
Yeah.
Ben. And so yeah, I mean Chicago is one of those places where people sometimes go on vacation over the July 4th weekend. And here's the thing, Chicago doesn't actually have fireworks at like, Navy Pier or whatever on July
Oh,
4th.
the city does not
It's
do a
just,
fireworks show.
well, the city does a fireworks show, Ben, but it's all individual neighborhoods setting themselves on fire.
Okay.
Um, so Edward is beside himself, just barking at everything. And here's the thing, some people are like, "Oh, that poor guy." Edward loves barking. It's like his favorite thing.
Yeah, I know. When I
So,
was over there, he would not stop barking.
yeah. So I think this is just giving him new and exciting things to bark at. Of course, we try to keep him calm. I usually have him in my arms most of the
So
time.
are people setting off fireworks already around your neighborhood?
Oh yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. It started a couple of days ago.
Yeah. That's typical. I
But
haven't heard any around my neighborhood yet, but I'm excited for the 3 a.m. explosion in Belltown, which
yes,
ultimately will happen.
the 3 a.m. explosion is a great name for a band, Ben, as always.
You heard it here first.
So yes.
Man.
And then you heard it here.
Hear it over here.
Yeah, we're gonna just set it so that you're on the. Oh, hey, this is actually a question. I have never listened to the podcast, as we know. Um, I'm sure I have before, but are we offset? Are our two channels offset at all? Or are we just mono straight down the middle? Both Paul and Ben overlapping each other.
Yeah, no, we're not separated by channel.
Haha.
It's a mono mix down.
Take that, AI. Good luck figuring out which of.
Because
I don't
honestly,
know. I guess.
that would be I've listened to shows that do that where one person is one ear
Yeah.
and it's not a joy to listen to.
Yeah. Now here's the question. When people listen, obviously my voice and your voice, two different voices, but how easy do you think it is for people to tell us apart when they first start? Like, do I have a lower register than you do when we talk?
Yeah,
Or are we
I
the
I
same?
think our voices are separate enough
Yeah.
in pitch and timbre that it's easy enough to identify us.
Oh, yeah.
Now you've done it,
Oh no, Ben, you did it. What did you
Ben.
do?
I left my funk lights on all night.
Oh, for those of you that
Oh
know, you
goodness.
you you loved that. Um, because sorry, the more I think about what the original one was, the funnier it gets for me.
I
Um,
Yeah, thanks for listening to
a
that,
40,
friends
a
at home.
45 and a 33.
Yeah. Okay, I'm doing something. The people at home get to, maybe they get to see this. I don't know. Yeah, they get to see what I'm trying to do at home. Arm for record. All right. Whoa. Oh, haha. There we
What is happening? I don't know.
go. Nope. Still being weird. All right.
Okay.
Never mind. Just gonna keep going as is.
All right. Well, Ben, if it's any consolation, I don't know what you're doing either.
But you
So
can hear me.
it's all
You can hear
okay.
me fine.
I
I
can hear
sound
you
fine to
fine. Yeah,
you.
no problem.
So hopefully I
Yep.
sound fine. I sound fine in the stream. This is what
That
I
was
sound like.
a
Yeah. Okay. That sounds fine.
So Ben, you'll be happy to know that I have stopped drinking the
Collaborated and
Ghost,
listened.
and I am now only drinking water, and I'm drinking water out of
Oh.
this that has been cleaned from all the gunk from my past house.
What were you drinking before?
I was drinking out of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle mug. It was the Ghost Hydration,
The
like the Ghost
Ghost.
version of Gatorade. Gatorade.
Ah, okay.
Ghost is a company that sells different beverage
Gotcha.
types. They've got their energy drink, they've got their hydration drinks, and I'm a big fan of
You got
ocean
your
water from Sonic.
vodka
And
drink. You got your
now,
soda drink.
yeah, well, I don't have my vodka drink, as you know, Ben. Not a drinker per se. So, yeah, I'll tell you, Ben, and this will be a framing device
Oh, right.
for what's going on. I have left the
Circus.
indie TTRPG game server on Discord. But I haven't just left that one. That's one I talk about all the time. But I've left every single one of them except for the server that my friends and I from college used to game on.
And what prompted this life change?
I had assumed yesterday that we were entering in a new phase of the American experiment, and I wanted to severely reduce my online footprint.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually today, as we speak, July 3rd, 2025, the House has passed the large spending bill
Yes.
again. And so now it just needs to go to the president's desk where he will ultimately sign it. And
Once
bringing
again,
to an end the great American experiment.
I will say that the funniest possible thing would be for him to veto it. He's not going to because it's his child, but it is
Well, is it? I mean,
now.
it's not his child.
Now this is the thing, right? Some news outlets were reporting that some Republican insiders said that Donald Trump, in talking to they had a couple of meetings, closed session meetings with the president, apparently, where he tried to get people to vote for the thing,
Yeah.
and
You
and
guys gave them
apparently
signed hats or something.
when discussing it, he said, you got to remember the only thing that you need to do to keep Americans happy is not to touch. And then he listed three things, and one of them was Medicare or Medicaid. I forget
Yeah.
what the difference is. But then someone said, but we are touching it in this. So I don't know, Ben. I mean, here's the question: if Donald Trump were to veto this and say, I just wanted to, have this big, beautiful bill,
Nobody
but
told
in
me
order to get it
that
passed,
it took
nobody told me
away.
that, and I care about you, the American people, so I will veto this. I think that I really do. I think that his popularity would go up.
I can't say one way or the other because I have no idea. But what I was thinking about earlier today, when it looked like this thing would become reality, and if the worst case scenario happens where rural hospitals close, they gut Medicare and they gut
Hmm.
Medicaid, and red state voters, very MAGA forward voters
Hmm.
who voted have voted Republican their entire lives, couldn't fathom voting for a Democrat, are going to lose their health insurance. People are going to die. I'm surprised nobody's mentioned death panels in regards to this bill because that was a
Yeah.
huge thing when the Obamacare bill was being passed.
Hmm.
I would like to imagine that these people whose lives will be utterly and devastatingly affected by this bill would vote for a Democrat to replace the Republican lawmakers, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think
Well,
these
there will.
people cannot stomach voting for Democrats to the point to where they'll let grandma die.
Well, there's a couple of things. One, it is possible that they secretly hate grandma. That is something that always is possible. But the other thing is this, that the
Never
way that
like the
I've
old
heard it
bird.
described, the way that everything rolls out, some of these things won't actually affect them until the next presidential cycle.
Yeah, and then they'll
It
just
was something
blame
that they,
Democrats.
right, it was something that
Convenient.
they talked about, that all of the bad stuff from the last time hit when Biden was in office. And so they said that
Yeah.
it was, Biden's economy or whatever.
That always seems to happen too. Like the Republicans come into power and they screw things up, and then when Democrats come back into power, they have to fix things. But things are so terrible because Democrats,
Yeah.
which is the
See, this
narrative.
is this is the fun thing that I've decided to do to keep myself sane, is I'm lumping them all into one big bucket. The politicians.
Republicrat.
I vote for the good politicians, but they're all part of the same mechanism, and therefore
There's
they're going to do what they're going to do.
there's a call. Speaking of good politicians, there's a call for Trump to deport Zohran Mamdani, the guy who
I
won
have
a
heard of that,
Democratic
yes.
primary in New York City, which I don't think is gonna happen. But like, I'm not surprised that they're talking about it at least.
Yeah, well, the thing that I remember, if I remember correctly, it was actually a U.S. lawmaker who wrote to, I don't know if it was Bondi, someone in the name,
Pam Bondi is the
name,
attorney general.
okay, it's not,
Marco Rubio,
no, it's a woman.
Lisa
It's a woman,
Murkowski.
Ben,
It's a
is what
it's a
um,
me.
no, basically wrote to someone. I guess maybe they're in charge of Homeland Security.
Christy Nome.
Yeah, I think it was Kristi Noem. I think asking for denaturalization
Yeah.
for him to start.
Yeah.
Um,
There's there's some sort of thing I saw last night. I can't remember where I saw it, but it was something to like the DOJ is looking at revoking citizenship for naturalized citizens based on like criminal records,
yeah,
political parties. Like they're like, if you're a registered Democrat, they can now say you're no longer they can't now, but like they want to be able to say you're no longer a citizen and send you off to wherever the hell they please.
Yeah, I mean
or
that's the
imprison you
thing.
at the very
Is
least
the
at Alligator Alcatraz,
Yeah. So oh yeah, alligator Alcatraz is a thing,
which
ladies
has
and
already
gentlemen.
flooded. By the way, I don't know if you saw. You probably saw that.
Yeah, it did flood during the photo op, so
Yeah.
that was a fun little thing. But yeah, it's for I keep on remembering that we need to sometimes make sure that the people that we expect will be listening to this in the future understand what these things are. So the Florida Everglades, where the so-called alligator Alcatraz is, was oftentimes used as a place for people to dump bodies, things like that, because the idea is that if they're in the Everglades, you're never going to find them.
An entire airplane crashed in the Everglades, and I don't think they ever found it.
So this is the idea basically that it's a facility for like 5,000 people, and yeah, the story went like this. When they were talking about it, the person who uh, was giving the briefing, our standard press secretary for Donald Trump, whose name escapes me, um, was smiling while describing
Yeah.
the general horrific idea that people who would try to escape wouldn't get that far because the nature would kill them. The thing that, of course, is fun about that is that, as someone mentioned, people who try to escape or who someone says try to escape is the problem. That yeah, this will just be a place where you send people and no one they will have been disappeared at that point
Yeah.
is the concern.
I can't remember who said this. I don't know if it was somebody in the federal government or like a state representative or whatnot. I think it was somebody in the federal government. I think it might have been somebody like Christy Nome, or maybe Nancy Mace or something, who said, now alligators are guaranteed at least 65 million meals.
Oh, that was what's her name? It's like a Marvel name. It's got two letters, Laura Loomer, something like that. Like
Laura Loomer is a person who's around the
is that a
president.
person?
Yeah.
I think that might have been. I think that
Yeah,
might have been her.
and
Yeah,
you know, it's all on top of being utterly insensitive. That's also about the amount of Latino people in the country.
yeah. That was the. I saw somebody post that that is not the number of immigrants in the country, but
Yeah,
it is the number of. I think it's like because I looked it up afterwards, like 62, not 65, but I'm sure they're throwing other people in there as well, etc.
yeah.
Here's the thing
Protesters.
that I'm concerned about. I live in a predominantly black neighborhood. Uh, the idea of having to have paperwork to prove that you're a U.S. citizen, right?
Yeah,
One of the issues that happens with voting, IDs for voting and stuff like that, is that sometimes it's hard to get an ID,
yeah,
right? So we're not talking just about, people who are in the like the front of this whole effort, right? We're thinking out, we're projecting out, we're like, it's not going to be too long before, like anyone could their citizenship could be questionable, right? Like, and this is I saw a good video about this. There was a guy who was interviewing people. They were on their way to that parade, um, and there was a talk about due process.
right.
And somebody said, so without due process, I come to you and I say, I don't think that you're a U.S. citizen, so you're going to get in this van with me. What would you do? He's like, well, I would show my ID, and he's like, yeah, but you're not showing anybody your ID. Who are you showing your ID? Me?
Yeah.
I'm not listening. You know, that kind of thing. Well, they're like,
Oh, this is your
you have
ID?
to.
No, it's not.
Exactly. That's the concept is that, um, the guy couldn't get it into his head that the same things he's like, but they're not here legally. How do you know? Unless you actually give them due process, you're just taking you're taking somebody's word for it. And
Yeah.
he didn't listen to the idea that, yeah, that could be you one day. And I mean, that's the thing, right? That's how all this stuff normally goes. It's one of those things where we're failing an open book test right now. Um, and here's the thing. Uh, I know that I am, an older guy now, right? We're older. We're not we're not the
We're not
elderly yet, but
elderly.
we are.
We're what they call
But we are.
middle-aged.
Yes.
We are about
And
halfway if things play out well.
and I'm not comfortable in the way that comfortable used to be comfortable, but I'm not starving,
Right.
you know. I am able to. I'm not food insecure. I have been food insecure. I'm not food insecure right now. Um and there's a thing. We've made fun of it before. We'll make fun of it again. The idea as a cis white guy, when bad things happen, you're like, oh, what if, I'm gonna be betraying my principles? What if I have to act against my ideals, etc.? Which is not the same problem that everybody's facing in situations like this, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start going to church, someone says. Uh, not the biggest problem. For a lot of people, there is no, oh, I'm gonna feel bad about this. There's a bad things are now actively happening to it. And the great thing, Ben, and I'm putting all this in sarcastic quotes. The great thing is bad stuff can be happening to us too. It's quite possible.
I mean, just
I mean,
by
there's absolutely no way to remove the entire podcast from the internet. We just can't
well,
at this
I
point.
mean,
It's
I don't. I who knows if it's going to come to that, but just by the station of you and I being, you can put privilege in quotes or not. I don't care. White people, white men, we are pretty like
oh yeah,
insulated.
you don't have to put it in quotes. Just we
Insulated
are
from
privileged.
from the immediate effects of what's going to happen, right? But like people around us are going to be affected. So like how do we start trying to enact change in that way? Or are we going to wait until we are immediate, where there are going to be checkpoints on the street when I walk up and
Well,
down the street? Am I going to have to show my driver's license and go past jack-booted thugs?
I mean, here's the thing. This is the deal, right? The the issues that we deal with generally right now on the face of it would be, I'll have to show my ID just to get home, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Things like, but you still are going home, right?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. They're inconveniences, but they aren't like large inconveniences. But again, you say the wrong thing, all of a sudden you get disappeared in the middle of the
Or
night and no one can
it
find you.
gets to the point where you go to a protest and you get arrested at this protest and you get disappeared.
Well, and this is where, my
Cowardice.
cowardice, my cowardice, my general lack of health, all that kind of stuff goes into play, right? Because I was thinking about, okay, so the No Kings March, right?
Yeah.
Huge turnout in Chicago. They weren't missing me, right? I didn't. do anything. And
Somebody's, where's Paul?
and and also, you know what? I hit someone with one brick. I get put in jail, and then what happens? You know, this is the like I said, the coward's way out. Maybe, perhaps, but the idea that not even, and here's the thing, not even I'm going to take this thing down from the inside. Not even that. Just I'm going to keep on showing up to work and participating in my grocery store like I always do, whatever. But I'm going to be a nice guy while I do it. That's the problem, but that's also, I mean, ultimately what I've done for 52 years up until this point. And we ask about the Democratic folks in general, right? Were there any appointees that were blocked by Democrats? Did the Democrats ever block any appointees, or did they all resign before they got appointed?
I don't know the numbers.
The ones that didn't make it in.
I don't know the numbers. But I do know that there were certain appointees that did get Democratic votes, surprisingly.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing, right? The idea is that what do we do? What do you and I do in general? Well, we vote. We vote and we put people in.
As long
Sometimes
as they let
say,
us.
"Hey, give us more money because this might happen. Bad things might happen if you don't give us money." And then people do give money, and then bad things still happen. And now they also don't have money, right? It's they don't have their money, and also the bill passed, basically. So, and
Everything is
there's
terrible.
also the idea, and I fully believe this, Ben, and I know that I said it in 2016. I'm saying it again now. Um, Things aren't above board in general, and I'm not talking about like voting fraud happening, rampantly and all that kind of rampantly. I'm saying that I feel as though, and it's there's this there's this thing in people's heads where they're like, well, the people that stayed home on election day, this is on you too. And it's like, okay, first of all, of course, I always vote. But secondly, um, anyone in my neighborhood who stayed home on election day, this isn't on them because my district voted for Harris.
Yeah.
And so the way things are set up, those people that stayed home didn't do a single thing to how this part happened
Well, you have,
over
I mean,
here where I live.
you have voter apathy, but you also have the fact that some people couldn't get off work. In some places, they only had one or two polling stations, so the lines were too long, and they closed before people were able to vote, or they
I mean,
weren't able,
some
or they
districts were
physically weren't able to
redrawn.
stand in line. Some districts were redrawn very purposefully.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just the thing that happens that I see happening again is like I think the reason why the left eats itself a lot, why they all just start infighting and saying, well, this is your fault because you know you well, it's Biden's fault because he didn't drop out soon enough, or it's
Yeah.
any of those things. um it's it is the fault of the people that voted for the bad things that are happening. You can get mad at the people who didn't do enough to stop it, yes. But I think the reason why that happens all the time, why people get mad at the people who aren't able to stop it, is because they are afraid of the people who are actually doing the thing. It's like when in a movie, when the bad guy has a hostage, right? And is holding the gun on the hostage, and then there's another hostage over here, And the bad guy says, "Which one do you want me to shoot?" It's going to be on your conscience. Which one? They're the ones that are going to be shooting the people,
Right.
right? They
But
they
you're
make
terrible
the
because
hero feel bad.
you,
Yeah,
yeah, made that choice.
exactly.
It's like, it's the Spider-Man saving like Mary Jane or the car full of tourists.
Yeah, exactly. Jennifer told me about this thing where they're saying that the Department of Transportation says that you can no longer distract people with signs in your yard. So like pride flags and stuff. This is what she told me. I didn't see the article. They can now order them to be taken down because they're a distraction to drivers.
But only pride flags and Black Lives Matter flags. Trump flags are
Well,
fine.
this is the question, right? And so then I started doing riffing on that with like uh, the Department of the Interior. We don't know why they have jurisdiction, but apparently, uh, no dogs are good boys anymore. And the person that loves them the most is the one that has to deliver them this news on penalty of arrest.
And
You know,
imprisonment.
that sort of, yeah. I mean, because this is the reason why I thought it would be funny if there's no reason why he would veto it, but this is why it would be funny if he would, because he's done part of what he wanted to do, which was to demonstrate that he could get people to sell out
Yeah.
their own constituents. So he does that, but then he doesn't pass it, and then
I was
he
only
has
here.
owned them.
It's a part of a grand plan to prove how corrupt the federal government is. And now that I've done that, I'm gonna sail off into the distance. We can only
I mean,
hope that's what happens.
if he were to do it, and I know that he listens to the podcast, so Mr. President, if you were to do that,
The
legendary,
hypocrisy of lawmakers is
legendary.
boundless.
See, in that way, I'm speaking at a lower register. That way, he hears that. He's like, oh, yeah. And then he gets the idea. And then you and me just watch it happen. And we don't take credit for any of the things, but
Don't need
everyone
to.
goes, wow,
Yeah.
that was, we can't believe that he did it. Pretty awful things have been done. Unforgivable things have been done. But that last bit, liked it. Speaking of which, and, I think this is where I got the idea from. Elon Musk. Hey,
Hey.
people are never gonna forgive him. But the stuff he's talking about, interesting anyway.
Well, I mean, like, are you talking about where he said he will primary all
He's gonna primary
lawmakers
all.
who vote
Yeah,
for this bill? Yeah. Well, he's got the money
we'll
and
see.
apparently the
Yeah,
drive.
does he though? That's the question. Will he? Because he did apologize. He did say that he said some things that he didn't.
Yeah, he said that the waving the chainsaw around at the convention might have been a bit too insensitive. Or I can't remember exactly what he said.
Yeah, but I don't know. This is the other thing is that I know this sounds crazy, but politics aren't everything. There is a chance that something else will happen that isn't done in the Congress or in the judicial chambers or in the White House that alters how the USA runs forever. And I'm not talking about like rioting in the streets or anything either. I'm just talking about something different. Something different might happen. There could be some cool new thing that we don't know about.
Or aliens come down.
Am I talking about aliens? That's the question. Yes, maybe. maybe that's what they're doing is they're trying to make everything as bad as possible to like coax the aliens out. But yeah, I mean, Ben, this is the thing, right? It's people like, okay, so where my parents live. These are my adoptive parents, of course. Where they live, there's not a hospital near them, really.
Right.
They have to go a certain amount of ways
Yeah.
for something to happen. I don't know if I ever told you about this story. I think I have. I've probably told it on the podcast before, but my dad cut his arm. I think it was his arm.
Clean off.
Either his arm or his leg on some barbed wire, and then talked about how there was a red line that was going for the wound, and he measured it and figured that it wouldn't reach his heart before the next morning. And so he waited until he could see the doctor and drove himself down and stuff. It's
Putting
like,
math to work.
yeah, this is what we're talking about. I mean, I was without health insurance for a while in Seattle, and that's kind of the stuff that we did,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean that's a very real calculation people make. Do I deal with this myself, or do I possibly go bankrupt because I go to the hospital?
Now, the other thing I heard was that ICE is now better funded than the Marines. I don't know if that's true or not, but that was
that is something that I heard too.
So, yay. I guess that's the thing is that I saw it going a couple of different ways, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Listen to the podcast. Somewhere you'll find this, where I thought
Somewhere 10 years
what was
ago.
going to happen is that they were going to this is before COVID, by the way. I need to point this out. Before COVID, I thought that they were going to militarize the NHS. Wait,
To what
NHS
end?
is that the health? Is that
The
the health?
NIH?
NIH. Yeah, sorry. What is the NHS? Is that anything?
Yeah, it is. Do you not know?
What? No. What is the NHS?
I mean, this is all about, teaching you how to fly, Paul.
Uh, just National
It's
Humane Society. National.
it's the British, it's the National Health
Oh,
Service.
I was close then. I was, but yeah, no, I meant the NIH, the National Institute of Health, and that it was going to be that they were going to take everything from people by claiming that they were sick. And people were, I feel healthy. Well, that's for us to
You
decide.
don't look good.
That's what I thought they were going to do, but it's gone. It's gone this way instead.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing I was saying back then was that the war on drugs, kind of played itself out. So I had to pick a new thing. I thought maybe it was going to be health, and it sort of was for a little bit. But now it's immigration. And the idea is that if you don't have enough illegal immigrants, then you just, by golly, go after the legal immigrants, and you make some more illegals by denaturalizing people. And eventually, I mean,
First they came for the illegal immigrants.
yeah, I gotta say, like, Ben, I don't mean to out you here or anything, but do you think that because someone heard a rumor at one time that you were Canadian, that there's going to be a glitch in the system? And because, I mean, that's the thing, Ben. They're saying, here's the 800 number, call, turn in your friends and neighbors, that sort of thing.
I haven't heard that. I would gladly accept a Canadian passport.
Yeah, you're not getting a passport. You're not going to Canada either. They're going to send you to Jamaica or one of many other
Canadian
third-party
Jamaica?
countries that are taking. Hey, wait a second. Now, there are a lot of Jamaicans in Canada. Snow, famously enough, grew up around some of them,
Yeah.
which is why Informer is fine.
That's not cultural appropriation at all.
Now, listen, Snow, I know you listen to the podcast. We don't mean anything by it. Should be fine.
Your
There,
cool
but
runnings with
and
me.
and and now wait a second. Think about it this way, Ben. Snow, famously enough, very upset about informers, snitchers, as it were.
Is
Um,
he?
yeah, well, famously, Ben, a licky boom boom down. What do you think that means?
I think that's up to interpretation, but you know.
Yeah, you're gonna lick what? Snow, stop it. Informer, me, Daddy Snow, he gonna me blame a licky boom boom down.
I don't remember the
Maybe.
words.
Okay. Informer, me, Daddy Snow, he gonna me blame a licky boom
You
boom
know
down.
when I hear the lyrics of that song, what I hear in my head, informer, a licky boom boom down, a licky boom boom down. I don't know what
Oh,
the
Ben,
heck
I
he's
think that
saying.
was long enough. We may have to pay royalties for it.
YouTube's gonna
Oh man,
flag this.
that's what I was. That's what I. Man, if they do, Ben, uh, pride of pride of place. That's good. Good. That's not what pride of place means. I don't even know if it means anything, Ben. Is that even a phrase? I don't know. So, but this is the basic thing. We know now. Uh, all signs point to this being bad times for people in the United States. That
Yeah.
things are going to. Do we get anything out of this bill? You and I are very poor when it comes to being billionaires. We are
Right. We are
under the line.
far from being billionaires
So
or even millionaires. Let's be
now
honest. Set the
there
bar
is
lower.
the thing about, yeah, that's right. John Hodgman famously calls himself an eccentric millionaire, which I think is wonderful and good for him. Um, so the so let's see, you and I have we're thousandaires, maybe.
You could say
I
that.
think
Yeah.
I am a
I
thousandaire.
have more than $1,000.
Yes.
Got 1,000 in
So
my bank account.
there was a. Do you remember the AI George Carlin thing that Will Sasso did?
Saw that it was a thing, but I did not watch it.
Yeah, I watched it, and there's a whole bit about um how you're not the elite and you're not poor, you're not rich,
Yeah.
and that the not rich was like kind of the middle class, but not. I don't know. I thought it worked out all right. Um,
It's a big club and
in
you ain't in it.
exactly in general, AI is going to be weird. It's already weird, but it's going to be weirder. It's getting to the point now where uh, old people, unfortunately, old people like us, are sharing things with their um, children, saying, "Isn't this wonderful?" And the kids having to tell them that that's AI.
I just saw today that TikTok is trying to crack down on a bunch of racist stuff that's being generated by VO3 and circulated on TikTok.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the bad parts, right? Is that there's no when when you make a piece of film and you put it out, people are able to tie it back to you in general. And so if you do something like that, you have to kind of answer for it. Whereas the AI thing, you're behind all the things, behind all the pixels, Ben. You're hidden.
Tonight on VH1's Behind the Pixel.
Oh yeah. Oh geez. Yeah, that'll be something, maybe. But so yeah, full circle to what I was talking about before. So the old server that I was on, um, I'm still friends with the guy who runs it. and I'm not really, not friends with the other people. Um, but it was starting to become too much like the internet for me, just like the internet in general. Like
Were people
when I
sharing stuff
first,
that was AI generated and they didn't know?
well, no, 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 the opposite. They were complaining about AI stuff, which me, happy to do it
Yeah.
and all that. But yeah, I said this thing because Microsoft laid off a bunch of people, and somebody made the joke, you got to pay, or the gallows humor, if you will, got to pay for, the increased energy consumption of Copilot somehow. And I'd said, I've been talking about this earlier, and basically AI is going to get rid of jobs of people who work in AI, and people who are adjacent to AI, a lot faster than maybe other types of jobs. It's an interesting thing. And somebody wrote, respectfully, it's already costing people their jobs. And I was like, oh no, am I going to have to relitigate the thing that I just said or re-explain it? Because yeah, the people that got laid off, I mean, that was the whole point, right? The people that got laid off at Microsoft, that's part of why they're laying people off. I'm commenting on the things already, and then I was like, oh, I don't have to do any of that. I can just I can just
You
leave.
can leave and not worry about what other people think.
And not only can I leave, but then when I leave, I also won't, you know, have other people who are looking into, if other people do, because I think they probably will eventually, people looking into me suddenly by collateral damage look into other people, right? I don't want that to happen. So, um, and we can talk about it more later, Ben, just in case you need to safeguard yourself from any blowback.
I it's gotten to the point where I right now I'm like, if I'm on the side of truth and dignity, even though it's the losing side,
Yeah.
you know,
I
I'm
mean, yeah,
fine with that.
I think this happens when you get older. I really do. I think you and I are kind of on the same page of like, well, what else? What else do I have to accomplish at this point?
I've lived my life.
I've done I've done good.
I've pretty
This
much
is the
done everything
thing
I'm gonna do.
that I mean, and bringing it back home to the podcast. Goody Lawrence is something that I am proud of that we did.
Yeah.
And we are, maybe performance art is a little bit like jazz music or blues, where you can continue on until you're old and everyone's still like, yay. Um, I,
I
I mean,
just today, Laura McCabe sent me a picture via Facebook Messenger of "Empty Them Dream Catchers" because apparently this is like an anniversary of it, and
oh,
um, and she said, uh, "Glad to be reminded today of this badass art y'all made, old friend. Respect."
and do you know that the guy who's doing that voice is now Conan O'Brien's assistant on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend?
Matt Gorley.
Yep, that's him. That's his voice in that. Now we added the music.
Yeah.
Um, I I haven't seen. Is that online? Is that one
It
of?
is, as a matter of fact.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that today. Because I've forgotten a lot about it.
Yeah, it is. If you go to YouTube and just search, I'm gonna try this. Empty them dream catchers. How to empty a dream catcher. Yeah, no. Our YouTube SEO is effing terrible.
which is fine.
Let's go. Goody. I'm gonna do YouTube search. Goody
This is
Lawrence.
for
Empty the.
anybody watching this. This is a rare occasion where Ben is looking something up online and I am not.
I'm doing a test, and even if you do Goody Lawrence, empty them dream catchers, it doesn't come up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, searches are a little bit screwed for lots of people. Seems like.
Yeah. And if you just do a Google search for Goody Lawrence, it's just flooded with the podcast feed. So
Man, how I wonder how are the Scientologists doing in
how
all
are
this?
the Scientologists doing?
Because I don't know. The Mormons aren't doing well. My understanding being because the Mormons that I know um, realize that in general Christian nationalism isn't good for them because most Christian nationalists don't consider Mormons Christians, and therefore they're kind of in the crosshairs. And I'm wondering about the Scientologists. I figure probably things are bad for them too.
So I just I found it because I went to GudeLaurance.com, clicked on live performances, and scrolled down to it.
Yeah.
There's 1.2 or there's 1,200 views of it.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's quite a bit, actually. There's one comment that was left 4 years ago by at a dangerous boy. Why gotta empty him?
Oh, oh.
And 8 thumbs up.
Can you do me a favor and make a reply to that
Sure.
and just say they full exclamation point
They full.
or would period be better?
How about question mark? Nah, period.
Oh,
They full.
yeah. I really would like this. I would like a dangerous boy to get that notification.
So at
And
Goody
then
Lawrence 1809, I actually didn't realize that our YouTube handle is at Goody Lawrence 1809. I think that was just assigned to me. Replied, oh, the why gotta empty him comment also received a thumbs up. So
oh yeah,
somebody liked
you
that
should
comment.
you should like the comment as well.
Now it's got 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Oh, show transcript. Dad, it's really dark in our room. You seen that movie? You seen that movie? You seen the movie what's called Praise? I've seen it. R? You wash your breath, clean your teeth, and pray to the Lord Jesus your privates close over, making them dream captures. You.
Wow, so close.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know, Ben. Things are gonna get weird. That's all I know.
Just
It's gonna be weird. The world is gonna be strange,
yeah.
like it always is.
I mean, oh Jesus.
Same as it ever was.
Thanks, Everclear.
Everclear. What?
He was the lead singer of the freaking jump around band.
Oh, Everlast, Ben.
Everlast, yeah. Not Everclear. Everclear's a
Wait.
different band.
Wait, they have Same as It Ever Was?
That's
in
a
something?
song. That's a song.
Oh,
On their
okay.
first album.
I was
House of
I
Pain.
was
There we go.
yes. I was talking about Talking Heads.
Same as it ever was.
Yep. But still, I mean, Everlast, right? I think Everlast is actually a Muslim. Or at least was.
Or did he convert later on?
I don't remember. I never eat the pig because the pig is a cop. There you go. That's possible.
Or better yet, a
possibly part of it.
Terminator, like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Trying to play me off like you think my name is Sega?
But I
I
ain't
don't know for sure.
bowing. I ain't going out now like no
Now,
pro.
see, Ben, we don't need to do all of it.
Get used to one style, and yo, I might switch.
Yeah. So yeah. What was that?
Oh yeah, brother.
Oh. Um. So I finally saw the Princess Bride home movie, which was apparently made during COVID. It was a whole bunch of different famous actors doing the Princess Bride.
I've not heard of this.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. It's on YouTube. You can find it. The Princess Bride home movie.
I've watched a couple things lately. I saw this documentary about Jane Mansfield by her daughter Mariska Hargitay,
Oh,
who
okay, yeah.
is in a TV show. Like she's one of the longest. She's like the longest running character in a TV show.
Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Yeah, which I've never seen, so I had no idea who this person was.
Oh,
But this documentary was actually recommended to me by someone, so I watched it last Saturday, and it's pretty fascinating. That it's a pretty wild story. It's called My Mom Jane.
was she the one who got decapitated in a car?
She died in a car accident. They didn't mention any decapitation, but it was like everybody in the front of the car died, and the kids in the back, including Mariska, survived.
Yeah, I mean, there's the movie Crash. Not that movie Crash, the other movie Crash, the Cronenberg one.
Okay.
Is based off of the book Crash, and in the book, one of the guys is one of the people in the book is obsessed with that crash. Jane Mansfield. That's how I knew about it.
Unsurprisingly, she did not talk about her mom getting decapitated.
Yeah.
But I also finally caught up with Andor.
Oh yeah,
we had coffee and had a good, lovely conversation. No, yeah, I finally finished it. You haven't seen it yet?
No, I'm no longer going to have Disney Plus and Hulu. I got rid of those so I could get IFC. Even though it's funny because there's a movie that was recommended to me that I thought was on IFC, but it's actually on Hulu. So I bought it because I think it's going to be good. And if it is, I will tell you the name of it next time.
And if it isn't, I'm not going to tell you the name at all.
This is the thing that I do. It's sort of like monotheism, but it's different. I don't know how to describe it, but in general, I only write reviews on like Yelp and stuff like that for restaurants that I like. And if I don't like them, I don't say anything.
Because my mom always told me.
Well, exactly. Why are you coming in here with that?
Who let you in here? I've never written a Yelp review. I should have. I've been asked by business owners to like write if I had a good experience, write a Yelp review, and I have had a good experience at that place. But I still.
Oh yeah, my neighbor actually is a wonderful cook, wonderful chef. He's a chef, Ben, a chef.
Yes, chef.
And I ate at his little pop-up place, and it was amazing. If you
For real, or are you just being nice?
No, like seriously, deep fried steak tacos that were the best tacos I've ever had.
Deep fried steak tacos,
bar
wow.
none.
Yeah.
Yep. And then also a chicken dinner, and the chicken is fried wings with this sort of barbecue sauce kind of thing on it. And then there are also these fries, and the fries, Ben, are they're a really interesting, like, kind of crinkle cut, but they're thin, and there's so many nooks and crannies, and they're just it's so good. Anyway, yeah, highly recommend.
All right.
It's America's Kitchen.
Somewhere in South Chicago.
Yep, that's right. And with that, Ben,
Are we done?
I wish you a wonderful. Wow, don't sound so excited, my friend.
Oh my God,
Uh,
we're done! Yay!
no, but then we have the debrief too.
No, but like I was just saying,
That won't be that long.
I wasn't like clocking the time, and this hour
Yeah,
seemed to go by pretty fast.
it was fun and exciting, and that's all that matters. I am off work tomorrow, as it is the 4th.
Happy
So I
birthday,
wish you
America.
a happy and long weekend, Ben.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to you
likewise.
more later.
Talk to you next week on the
Yep.
GudeLaurance podcast.
See ya.
Wouldn't want to be ya.
How's it happening?
Keep it wrong. How's it
Keep it wrong.
happening?